Sri Aurobindo is telling us about Savitri living in the wilderness, in the forest. And he told us that the very, very simple life there and the mighty wildness of the primitive earth and the brooding multitude of patient trees and the musing sapphire leisure of the sky and the solemn weight of the slowly passing months had left in her deep room for thought and God. I think that's where we stopped last time. So I'll read on from there. There was her drama's radiant prologue lived, a spot for the eternal's tread on earth, set in the cloistral yearning of the woods and watched by the aspiration of the peaks, appeared through an aureate opening in time, where stillness, listening, felt the unspoken word, and the hours forgot to pass towards grief and change. Here, with the suddenness divine advents have, repeating the marvel of the first descent, changing to rapture the dull earthly round, love came to her, hiding the shadow, death. Well might he find in her his perfect shrine, since first the earth being's heavenward growth began, through all the long ordeal of the race, never a rarer creature bore his shaft, that burning test of the Godhead in our parts, a lightning from the heights on our abyss. All in her pointed to a nobler kind, near to earth's wideness, intimate with heaven, exalted and swift, her young, large-visioned spirit, voyaging through worlds of splendor and of calm, overflew the ways of thought to unborn things. Ardent was her self-poised, unstumbling will. Her mind, a sea of white sincerity, passionate in flow, had not one turbid wave. As in a mystic and dynamic dance, a priestess of immaculate ecstasies, inspired and ruled from truth's revealing vault, moves in some prophet cavern of the gods, a heart of silence in the hands of joy, inhabited with rich creative beats, a body like a parable of dawn that seemed a niche for veiled divinity or golden temple door to things beyond. Immortal rhythms swayed in her time-born steps. Her look, her smile, awoke celestial sense even in earth stuff, and their intense delight poured a supernal beauty on men's lives. A wide self-giving was her native act, a magnanimity as of sea or sky, enveloped with its greatness all that came, and gave a sense as of a greatened world. Her kindly care was a sweet, temperate sun. Her high passion, a blue heaven's equipoise. As might a soul fly like a hunted bird, escaping with tired wings from a world of storms, and a quiet reach like a remembered breast, in a haven of safety and splendid soft repose. One could drink life back in streams of honey fire, recover the lost habit of happiness, feel her bright nature's glorious ambience, and preen joy in her warmth and colors rule. A deep of compassion, a hushed sanctuary, her inward help unbarred a gate in heaven. Love in her was wider than the universe. The whole world could take refuge in her single heart. Who will read first? Okay. Yes, line 116.
Has left in her deep room for thought and God. There was her drama's radiant prologue lift, a spot for the eternal strayed on earth, set in the cloistral yearning of the woods, and watched by the aspiration of the peaks, appeared through an aureate opening in time, where a stillness, listening, felt the unspoken word, and the hours forgot to pass towards grief and change.
Thank you. So Sri Aurobindo has been describing for us how Savitri was living in the forest. In the Meditations on Savitri series, the first picture of Savitri is like that, her living in the forest. And he tells us that it is here in this forest setting that the prologue to her drama was lived, experienced. A prologue is an introduction to a drama, something that happens before the story really begins. So here it is, here in this spot which seems so lovely. It's a suitable place for the eternal to set his foot on earth. It's set like a jewel within the woods, in the cloistral yearning of the woods. This word cloistral, it's connected with the word cloister, which is an enclosed place in a monastery or a nunnery, a secret, private place. And here there's this aspiration of the forest. And the whole area where she's staying is watched by the peaks, the high peaks of the Himalayas. And they also are aspiring. So this spot, this is a very special place. He says that it appeared through an aureate opening in time. Aureate means golden. There's a golden spot in the forest, and there's a golden moment in time. And in this moment and this place, there's a great silence, stillness, as if everything is listening, feeling the word that isn't spoken, the unspoken word. Something's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. And there it seems as if time stands still. The hours forgot to pass towards grief and change. Our earthly hours are always passing, and sooner or later they meet grief and change. But their time seemed to stand still for this special moment. What is going to happen in this special moment? Dana, would you read, please?
Here with the suddenness, divine advents have, repeating the marvel of the first descent, changing to rapture the dull earthly round. Love came to her, hiding the shadow, death.
Yes. So here in this spot and in this moment, suddenly, very suddenly, with the suddenness that divine advents have. An advent is a coming or an arrival. A God comes down, and that descent of the God repeats the marvel of the first descent, when earth was first created, when the divine first came to inhabit this material universe. When this advent happens, it changes our dull earthly round, our ordinary human life. It changes it towards rapture, intense delight. This is what happened when love came to Savitri. She doesn't know when she meets Shraddhavan for the first time and feels love for the first time, that this love that's coming and bringing rapture is hiding a shadow, death. She will not only have the joy of union, she will also have to face the ordeal of the foreknowledge of death.
The first descent is repeated again and again. The divine advent is repeated.
This particular advent of the God of love, it seems to repeat the very first descent when the world was created, the beginning of this universe.
It's not the descent of the avatars. It's descent of the earth.
It's the descent of the divine. This is the God of love who's coming to her, divine in the form of love. Yeah.
And adventure is not from Advent.
Advent means coming, arrival, and it may be connected with adventure because adventures are things that come unexpectedly. And you go adventuring, you go looking for unexpected things to come and meet you. Maybe they are. It comes from the Latin, vene, to come, and ad, to. Something comes to you. Martin.
Wealth mighty find in her is perfect shrine. Since first the earth beings heavenward drove began, to all the long ordeal of the race, never a rarer creature bore the shaft, that burning test of the Godhead in our paths, the lightning from the heights on our abyss.
Mm-hmm. So Sri Aurobindo says that since first the evolutionary process began, since the heavenward growth of the earth being began, and through all the long, difficult journey and growth of the race, of the human race, never a rarer creature, never a more beautiful and perfect creature than Savitri bore his shaft, the arrow of the God of love. He shoots arrows at us, no? When the arrow strikes us, then we can't escape, then we feel love. So Savitri is the most perfect human creature that there's ever been on earth. And he says that this shaft, this arrow of the God of love, is a burning test of the Godhead in our parts. It tests the how divine we are, or whatever divine parts we have in us. They get tested by this arrow, this love, because it's burning, it's intense and powerful. It's like a stroke of lightning coming from the heights, from the divine heights, to our abyss, the depths that we live in. Sri Aurobindo says, well might love find in Savitri his perfect shrine. A shrine is a place where a God can live. So that's what she is. She's a being who can allow or enable that love to live in her. And now Sri Aurobindo is describing what are the qualities in Savitri that make her the perfect shrine for the God of love. Alice.
A lightning.
No, the next line.
All never pointed to a nobler kind, near to earth's whiteness, intimate with heaven, exalted and swift, with young, large, visioned spirit, voyaging through worlds of splendor and of calm, overflew waves of thought to unborn things.
So everything about Savitri is pointing towards, giving an indication of a nobler kind, a higher species than humanity. Some more divine species. And one by one, the poet's going to enumerate the parts of Savitri, all in her. He starts with the spirit. He says that her spirit, her young, large vision spirit, is exalted, uplifted, and moves swiftly. It's near to the wideness of earth, but it's also intimate, it's very close to heaven. And it voyages, it travels through worlds of splendor and of calm, flying high above the ways of thought to unborn things, to things that have not been born, that have not yet been manifested yet, or things that are immortal, that have not been born and will not die. So it's as if her spirit is like a great bird, flying high, swiftly, young, large vision. She takes a wide view of things, and its voyage traveling through other worlds, not only this world, worlds of splendor and of calm. And it flies high above the ways of thought that are typical of us mental beings, to higher things, to unborn things. This is the spirit. Next he speaks about the will, Samadashan. Ardent.
Ardent was her self-form which is under her mind, a sea of a white sincerity, passionate flow, had not one turbid wave.
We'll pause there because the next sentence is a very long one. Ardent, burning. Her will is very powerful, but it's balanced, self-poised. It doesn't stumble. Our mental will is always tripping itself up and falling. But her will is burning but self-poised, unstumbling. And her mind, he says, is like a sea of pure white sincerity. It's passionate in flow, there's an intensity in it, but it doesn't have even one turbid wave, one muddy, troubled wave. It's absolutely pure. Sopo.
As in a mystic and dynamic dance, a priestess of immaculate ecstasy, inspired and ruled from truth revealing word, moves in some perfect covering of the gods, a heart of silence in the hands of joy, inhabited with rich creative being, a body like a parable of God, that seemed a witchy or veiled divinity, our golden temple door to think beyond.
Yes. It's quite a complex image. Sri Aurobindo is speaking about Savitri's heart. Her heart is full of silence, but this silence is held in the hands of joy. It's supported by divine delight. And that heart is beating with rich creative beats. It's living in this beautiful body, which he describes later. But he says the way that that heart beats, it's like a dance, the mystic and dynamic dance of a priestess who is inspired and ruled from truth's revealing vault, and she moves in some prophet cavern of the gods. There's a kind of hint of an ancient oracle where there would be a priestess who has contact with the higher realms. There were such oracles several times in the poem. Sri Aurobindo refers to the oracle at Delphi. That priestess used to go into trance, and then she would make sounds or speak words. But here there's nothing like that. It's a dance. It's the dance which is revealing. She's moving, and by her movements she's expressing these the truths that are coming from above. She's a priestess of immaculate ecstasies. A priestess may be ecstatic, and this ecstasy is absolutely pure, immaculate. So this heart, this dancing heart, expressing the messages of truth, is inhabiting with its rich, creative beats a body, this lovely golden body of Savitri that seems like a parable or a symbol, a short summary of dawn, all the beauties of dawn. And this body, he says, seems like a niche, this little shrine where a veiled divinity can live. Often we have Lord Ganesh, no? He's in a little shrine, a little niche like that. But here we don't see the divinity. The divinity is living there, but it's veiled, no? Or maybe it's not like a niche with a veiled divinity. Maybe it's like a door, a golden temple door. The door is closed, but it will open to things from other worlds, no?
Dynamic dance, maybe dance of Shiva?
I don't think it's exactly the dance of Shiva, but it's a dance that reveals something. And actually there's a painting of it, I think, but no sketch. The mother, not here. Oh, here it is. It's illustrating this description. And Hutta says when mother was showing her how to make these paintings, usually she did a sketch. But for this one, she did a dancing pose. She stood up and posed. So that is what Hutta has shown. It shows that he refers to it elsewhere about the revealing gestures of the dance. If the dancer is really inspired and ruled from truth's revealing vault, then the movements and the gestures can express higher things.
The psychic dance, perfect for me. Mm-hmm. Maybe heart dance.
Yeah.
Is the movement from the psychic.
Should be. Yes. Joel.
Immortal rhythms sway in her time-bound steps. Her look, her smile awoke celestial sense, even in earth's depth, and their intense delight poured a supernal beauty on men's lives.
So that beautiful body is like a a niche for veiled divinity or a golden temple door, but just the physical appearance. When she moves, when this golden body moves, it expresses immortal rhythms, not earthly rhythms, but rhythms from the higher levels. And her look, the way that she looks at you, and the way that you see her, and her smile woke up a capacity of heavenly sense. We have earthly senses and we can feel things, material things. But the subtle senses are open to other worlds. No? So there's something about her appearance when people see her, when they see her look and her smile. The celestial sense wakes up in them, even in earth stuff, even in the physical body. And the intense delight of that look and that smile is as if pouring out a supernal beauty on men's lives, on the lives of the human beings who saw her. It's as if she's pouring a divine beauty. Sergei.
The white Auroville was united a magnanimity of sea, of sky, enveloped with its greatness, overcame, and gave a sense as of a great Lord.
She's always giving herself widely, a wide self-giving. This is just her natural, native way of acting. That kind of wide self-giving is very generous, magnanimity, generous sharing. In the same way as the sea or the sky is wide and generous. And that generosity of hers, enveloped, just embraces everything that comes with its greatness. And those who are touched by it get a sense as if the whole world has become greater and nobler and truer. Lela.
Her kindly care was a sweet, temperate sun. Her high passion, the blue heavens, the
So these are two characteristics, complementary characteristics. Kindness, sympathy, sensitivity. That's like a sun that's not too hot, a sweet, temperate sun. But she also has a lot of intensity of feeling, of high, noble feeling. Her high passion was like the balance, the calm balance of a pure blue sky. Who is sitting behind Sarojini? Slava. Slava, would you read?
Yes. That's my soul, life, chanted word, escaping with direct wings from the world of from and while each life and memory breathes in heaven of Savitri and splendid thoughts before one to live back in street of honey fire, recover the lost habit of happiness, feel bright nature, glorious
ambience,
and free joy in her warmth and color.
Yes. So it's a very, very beautiful picture. A soul that's been suffering in a world of storms, and it's managed to escape. Its little wings are tired, but it's escaped from that world of storms, and it's reached a quiet place. And that quiet place is like the soft breast of its mother, maybe, a remembered breast. So in a similar way, anyone who comes in contact with Savitri could experience this sense of a haven, a safe place. It's like many harbors are called haven. It's a protected place, a haven of safety. And there you can rest, splendid, soft repose. And that poor, tired soul could drink life back. Exhausted, but it can drink life back in streams of honey fire. And it can get back the habit of happiness which it has lost in its struggles in the world of storms. It can enjoy feeling the glorious ambience of Savitri's bright nature. And ambience is a surrounding atmosphere. And if it's a little bird, like a little bird, it can preen itself when birds come in out of the rain, or they smooth their feathers and fluff them up and clean them. Preen joy in the rule of her warmth and her color. This wonderful, glorious ambience that Savitri offers.
But Shraddhavan, in the quite rich, like, remember, is Savitri Bhavan. I tell you, really, the protection.
You had that feeling, huh?
Is my personal experience. Exact 12 years, but I tell you, really, is a splendid, soft repose. And somebody this morning, I have very early some meeting with Auroville, and he told me Savitri is this place. He described it as one Indian image.
When I read these lines, I think this is Sri Aurobindo's description of the mother.
No, but mother there.
Anyway, who will read next? Sarojini.
A deep of compassion, a host of century, her inward help on board a gate in heaven. A love in her was wider than the universe. The whole world could take refuge in her single heart.
Mm-hmm. So this is what she offers, a deep bed of compassion, a hushed sanctuary, a silent, safe place, a quiet, safe place. And her inward help, this is what the mother used to give, no? That would, her contact, her loving contact, could open up a gate to heaven for that person, for that individual. Unbar it, unlock it, open it up. In her, love was wider than the universe. The whole world could take refuge, could find sanctuary in her heart, her one heart that is so vast and wide and deep. So these are all the reasons why the God of love might well find in Savitri his perfect shrine, the perfect place for him to dwell. Ganga Lakshmi, would you read?
The great and satisfied Bhavan here would dwell, vacant of the dark, self-impressionable air. Their mood would harbor is sublime voice, spiritual, that can make all things divine.
Yes. So the great unsatisfied Godhead, this is love, the God of love. He's never satisfied. He always wants to love more and more and more. But here in Savitri, he could find a place to live, to stay. And this is because her mood, her way of being is completely vacant, completely free of the imprisoned air of the dwarf self, of the little ego. There's nothing egoistic in her at all. So none of this tightness and narrowness, nothing. Her mood is able to contain, to harbor the highest kind of love, the sublimer breath of spiritual love that can make everything divine. Naran.
For even her curves were secrecies of light. At once she was the stillness and the word, a continent of self-diffusing peace, an ocean of untrembling virgin fire. The strength, the silence, the gods were hers.
Even her gulfs, her deep places, they are not dark, they're full of light. And she combines two divine qualities, the stillness and the word, the power of dynamism. She's like a great mass, a continent of peace, which is diffusing itself, spreading peace all around it. A continent is something solid, but she's also like an ocean, a flowing, shifting, limitless ocean of untrembling, virgin fire, of intensity, of pure intensity and purity. In her, she combines the strength and the silence of divine beings. Kamala.
In her, he found vastness like his own. His eye were subtle, little, he found, and moved in her as in his natural home. In her, he met his own eternity.
Yes. So this is the God of love. In her, if his own vastness, he finds something like it. And he finds back his own atmosphere, his own high, warm, subtle ether, that pure atmosphere. So he can move in her as in his natural home. In her, when the God of love meets Savitri, he meets his own eternity. So that's just the right place to stop for today. There was her drama's radiant prologue lived, a spot for the eternal's tread on earth, set in the cloistral yearning of the woods, and watched by the aspiration of the peaks, appeared through an aureate opening in time, where stillness, listening, felt the unspoken word, and the hours forgot to pass towards grief and change. Here, with the suddenness divine advents have, repeating the marvel of the first descent, changing to rapture the dull earthly round. Love came to her, hiding the shadow, death. Well might he find in her his perfect shrine. Since first the earth being's heavenward growth began, through all the long ordeal of the race, never a rarer creature bore his shaft, that burning test of the Godhead in our paths, a lightning from the heights on our abyss. All in her pointed to a nobler kind, near to earth's wideness, intimate with heaven, exalted and swift, her young, large-visioned spirit, voyaging through worlds of splendor and of calm, overflew the ways of thought to unborn things. Ardent was her self-poised, unstumbling will. Her mind, a sea of white sincerity, passionate in flow, had not one turbid wave. As in a mystic and dynamic dance, a priestess of immaculate ecstasies, inspired and ruled from truth's revealing vault, moves in some prophet cavern of the gods. A heart of silence in the hands of joy, inhabited with rich creative beats, a body like a parable of dawn that seemed a niche for veiled divinity, or golden temple door to things beyond. Immortal rhythms swayed in her time-born steps. Her look, her smile awoke celestial sense even in earth stuff, and their intense delight poured a supernal beauty on men's lives. A wide self-giving was her native act, a magnanimity as of sea or sky, enveloped with its greatness all that came, and gave a sense as of a greatened world. Her kindly care was a sweet, temperate sun, her high passion a blue heaven's equipoise. As might a soul fly like a hunted bird, escaping with tired wings from a world of storms, and a quiet reach like a remembered breast, in a haven of safety and splendid soft repose, one could drink life back in streams of honey fire, recover the lost habit of happiness, feel her bright nature's glorious ambience, and preen joy in her warmth and colours rule. A deep of compassion, a hushed sanctuary, her inward help unbarred a gate in heaven. Love in her was wider than the universe. The whole world could take refuge in her single heart. The great unsatisfied Godhead here could dwell, vacant of the dwarf self's imprisoned air. Her mood could harbour his sublimer breath, spiritual, that can make all things divine. For even her gulfs were secrecies of light. At once she was the stillness and the word, a continent of self-diffusing peace, an ocean of untrembling virgin fire. The strength, the silence of the gods were hers. In her he found a vastness like his own, his high, warm, subtle ether he refound, and moved in her as in his natural home. In her he met his own eternity.